If you are buying a home in the Arizona real estate market, you're going to want to stay tuned, or maybe not. So, I'm going to ask you two questions, and if you can't either answer both of them, you are going to want to pay attention to this video. So, the first question is, when buying a house in Arizona, does the owner have to disclose if someone died on the property? Yes or no? Next question. When buying a house, does someone have to disclose if a sex offender lives right next door? Yes or no? Hi, my name is Nicole Black, your Arizona Realtor, and we are going to dive into a document that everyone should get when buying a home in Arizona. And even when they get it, I feel like some people don't take it as seriously and as informative as it is, and that is the buyer advisory form. Yes, this form is 13 pages long, which I kind of feel is why some people get deterred from really reading it because they're like, you have so many documents to go through and sign, and you're like, okay, yeah, got this. I'm telling you, do not brush by this one. It has so much helpful information that you should know about the home before purchasing a property. It has resources and tools, and we're going to dive into that right now. Okay, so this is the buyer advisory form, and I promise you the first two questions that I asked you in the beginning of this video, we will answer them because they're in this form. Yes, the answers are right in here and resources for you as well. I do want to stop on the first page where it says please note, because it's a thing. Almost everyone, not everyone, but almost everyone has a Ring doorbell camera. And sometimes they even have cameras in the house now. So when you are going to preview a home, make sure to keep certain comments that you would want to keep private outside the home and also even outside the Ring doorbell. Because I have a lot of clients, we walk in, they want to talk freely, of course, because we're in the moment and they want to discuss and ask me questions, but they are things that should be kept private between the client and the agent and should not be previewed or privy to the people who are listening on the camera in the house or at the Ring doorbell. So it's even in the buyer advisory, please note that there could be video or audio surveillance. So please keep the private conversations outside of the home and in the privacy when you know you're no longer in the way of a video or audio. Okay, so in this section here is going, just kind of give you a brief overview of Section 1, all the documents that you should be aware that you should be reading. Section 2, all the common conditions the property you should investigate that they are advising to take a look at. Section 3, the condition affecting the area surrounding the property that you should investigate. They give you all that information. The methods about getting information about the property, resources. All right, in Section 1, the purchase contract, the only reason I'm going to bring that one up right now is because if you purchase a new build home from like D.R. Horton or Toll Brothers or Rosewood, I have not seen any of them use this. They have their own purchase contract. So that's one thing when going to buy a new construction home where a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't need a real estate agent with me because, they've got one there and it's all good. They don't use the standard form and it's quite long and it's that tiny little print, and you are absolutely going to want a professional, in my opinion, to read over it and then explain to you what you're signing because it's not standard. So if you've bought in a resale house before and you're like, I know this, it is different. They put things in there to their advantage. It's their contract. Rightfully so, right? But you just need to be aware and know of them and see if you're comfortable with that moving forward with the purchase of the home. The spuds, as we call it, and anytime I say the friends, what's a spuds? Is it a potato? No, it's our seller property disclosure statement. Every resale home will have that, and it's going to tell you what they know that has gone on the property, and they do legally have to disclose. You have your CC&Rs with the HOAs. One thing about the CC&Rs, you will receive those typically from title. So you'll get that email. You do have 5 days to review them and approve of them. If you don't, it is a conversation you should have with your real estate agent whether or not you want to move forward, because if there's something that does not work with what you're purchasing the home for or isn't conducive to you, you can get out of the purchase contract within 5 days of receipt of that email from title for the CC&Rs. That's something good to know. I mean, maybe they've got something weird in there, like you can never, ever park on the street. If you do, you get towed. I don't know if you want to live in a place like that. Maybe you do. All right, next. a title report or a title commitment, and this will show if there's any easements or anything that you should know, like liens on the property. We had a client purchase a home and there were lots of tax liens on the property, and it was something that we did want to be aware of. So you are going to get that from title too. When purchasing a house, your agent is going to ask you, do you want a home warranty policy? Okay. Home warranties only last 1 year, so you've got to renew them every year, and it can be purchased by you. It could be in the contract that the seller has to purchase it, or it could be a little bit of both. But it is a negotiating point and something to discuss with your real estate agent moving forward before you finish that contract. So when buying a home in Arizona, here are the inspections that we are going to recommend. It's going to, of course, be your general home inspection, pool if there's a pool and spa, termite, mold, sewer scope, and radon. Now, of course, there's more, but those are the typical ones that we go with and start with. Now, your general home inspector will go on the roof. They will look at the AC unit. They can also do pool if you request and ask them to for an additional fee. But remember, they're a general home inspector. This is not their specific avenue of expertise. It's going to be general. So for things like your roof, if it's over 10 years old, we are going to recommend that you get a actual roofing inspector up there, depending on the age of the pool and what it looks like. And maybe after the general one goes through, it goes, hey, you might want to get somebody out here, or even for like the AC unit, they can recommend that as well. But at that point, those are the more specific ones that you're going to want based on the needs of the property that you're purchasing to protect yourself. Now, also the thing that we hear about here in Arizona that some people and I could get it, would be freak out a little bit, is scorpions. Yes, the houses here can have scorpions. Typically, they're called Bart scorpions. For the most part, they're about that big. That's so big. But again, when the house gets treated, you rarely ever see a scorpion in your house. Anytime we moved into a house, I don't know if they just didn't have it treated or not, but we never ever stopped. We were consistent on our treatments. If we saw anything in between, they'll come out for free between sprays. They would spray, we would get on that consistent schedule. And the last 4 years in our house that we just sold, we never saw one scorpion in the house in 4 years. And the only time we actually even did was the summer months and when we were gone for a while. So the house was dark, it was empty. And when they came in, they were already halfway dead. So what we have noticed and experienced with scorpions is if you get the home treated on a regular basis, they have not been an issue. That's what we have experienced. All right, and to answer one of our 2 questions that we began with is on page 8. It's number 12, death and felonies on the property. So Arizona states that sellers and real estate licensees have no liability for failure to disclose to the buyer that the property was ever the site of a natural death, suicide, murder, or felony. They do not have to disclose it. Do you want to know this? Yes, you probably would like to know this information. So the local law enforcement agencies may be able to help with incidents related to the property. They have a website right here for you to go and check that out. Also, you should get, I think within a couple days of an accepted contract, is the insurance claims report. So you're going to get a 5-year home insurance history on the property. So just note that you should be receiving that as well. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And our next question that we started with in the beginning is, do the sellers have to disclose if they're sex offenders nearby, next door, in the neighborhood? And as of June 1996, Arizona has maintained a registry and community of notification program for convicted sex offenders. Prior to that, it was not required. And if you look right here, the presence of a sex offender in the vicinity of the property is not a fact that the seller or real estate broker is required to disclose. So again, they do not have to disclose the information, but if you want to know, there is a resource for you. Let's check it out. So if you Google the National Sex Offender Public website, you can type in your address of where the property is. And as you can see right here, it will pop up with all the registered sex offenders. You can scroll down, see their information, who they are, but you have all that information right there to decide whether or not that property is for you. And what about crime? Now, crime is it's interesting because personal safety and comfort levels differ for everyone. So I highly recommend, and you have it right here in your buyer advisory form, is a resource called Community Crime Map. So as you can see here, you go to communitycrimemap.com, type in again your zip code, and it will bring up all the current activity and crimes in that area. So again, you can decide what your comfort level is and know for yourself if that area is where you want to move to. And then also, you want to know the schools in your area, not only if you have kids, if you don't have kids, for resale value. So you're going to want to check that out. There's an amazing website called greatschools.org. As you can see here, go to greatschools.org. You can type in again your address of where you're at, and it's going to bring up all these different statistics regarding the schools in your area. I do want to point out, though, right here, the Arizona Department of Real Estate advises to call the school district serving the subdivision to determine whether nearby schools in the area are accepting new students. Some school districts, especially in the northwest of the greater Phoenix area, have placed a cap on enrollment. You may find that your children cannot attend the school nearest you and may even be transported to another community. So definitely call the school districts and get informed first. Did you find this information interesting? Did you find it helpful? I hope so. This form is so important. So remember, when you're purchasing a home and you get it, read through it, click on the links, and research your area and your potential future home. If you have any questions, please always feel free to call, text, email, whatever your preferred communication is, and we will get back to you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because this is what we do: community tours, map tours, home tours, information about real estate for you. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. And never forget, we are always here for you.